communicator. Number 7, speech number 7, which is research your topic. Back to the basics. When you're the Toastmaster of the day, the best laid schemes of mice and men oft go awry and leave us nothing but grief and pain. For promised joy, from the poem To a Mouse from Robert Burns, November 1785, you've been scheduled as the Toastmaster of the day and think you are prepared, but nothing seems to go as planned. A successful meeting depends on the performance of 14 individuals on the agenda who must hit their objectives with precision. That is a lot to ask, yet we attempt to do it each week. Today, Phil Brady will share tips to help you perform your role as Toastmaster of the day. Please welcome Phil Brady to the lectern.
Good morning.
Good morning.
When you are the Toastmaster of the day, you're responsible for directing the meeting. Now, how do you prepare for that? Preparation, presentation, and evaluation. The 3 cornerstones of being a Toastmaster. Preparation is planning in advance. You need to contact the participants of next week's meeting right after this meeting. Contact the speakers, the table topics master, the general evaluator, the word master, the humorist, and make sure they've all accepted their roles and that they're going to be prepared. You also need to ask the speakers to bring an introduction. The last thing you want to do as a speaker is come up here without an introduction and expect somebody to ad-lib an introduction for you. It's like a minefield. You do not know what's going to come out of their mouth. Now, since we have an agenda on our website, it's much easier to see what's going on, and you need to check constantly during the week to see if anybody's dropped off the schedule and who has replaced them. Also remember, it is the individual member's responsibility, if they can't make their assignment, to find a replacement for themselves. It's not your responsibility, Toastmasters. But since you're kind of overseeing everything, you're going to get the blame. You need to kind of keep on top of people during this. The general evaluator is responsible for the entire evaluation team. So if your general evaluator is on board, then you may want to check with them, but they're responsible to make sure that all those assignments are covered. So that's the preparation part. The presentation part is starting the meeting on time, advancing through the agenda while watching the clock, because we want to end on time. Our club has a unique challenge that most other clubs don't have. We start at 7 and we end at 8, and if we're not out here at 8 o'clock, our brothers who are coming in behind us can barge right in on us, and we're still trying to meet. So we have that. Let me say that another way. If we don't hit our objectives and on our schedule, that doesn't constitute a change in their schedule. So the skill of brevity is an additional skill which we learn as Toastmasters in this club. And then finally, there's evaluation. After the meeting, what went well, what didn't go good, what could I do better next time as Toastmaster of the day to perform better in the future. So let's look a little deeper into preparation. I like to begin my role as Toastmaster of the day the week ahead of time, and I want to nail down those 3 speakers. I want to make sure that, yes, they're coming to the meeting, they've accepted their role, and what is the time for their speeches. If somebody waltzes in with a 25-minute speech, then it kind of blows the whole meeting, how the agenda is going to flow. So I need to nail them down. Also, I need to, as I said, remind them to bring their introduction. I also want to make sure that table topics master's on board, the general evaluator is on board, and then I touch base with the word master and the humorist. Once I've got them, I'm well on my way to moving forward. Once that's done, it's important to check with the other people on the agenda and make sure they're ready to go. Once I know the times for the speeches, I need to parlay with the general evaluator, let them know who's speaking, because a lot of times there's changes to the schedule. Somebody drops off, somebody else jumps on it. The general evaluator may want to switch around who's evaluating whom based on the skill level of those evaluators. When it's time, when that part is, the preparation is over, then preparation 2, what needs to be done the day of the meeting. I always like to get here early, make sure my speakers are here, make sure the table topics person's here, make sure the general evaluator's here. I get those introductions from the speakers, and I want to read them over myself right at that moment to make sure if they're handwritten, I want to be able to make sure I can read them so that I'm prepared and I can read them the way they're intended to be read. The Sergeant of the Arms will open the meeting. He'll introduce the President, who in turn has a few announcements, and then introduces me as Toastmasters Day. As I said, always bring them an introduction for the Toastmaster, because you don't want to let them ad-lib. And then once I take the lectern over, it's my responsibility to advance the agenda, hand it off the lectern to the participants, and then taking it back when they're finished. Now, I like to use an agenda, a worksheet agenda. Vance, would you please pass these out? Thank you. I have a worksheet agenda I like to use when I'm a Toastmaster today, and I start filling it out the week ahead of time to make sure I've got everything on there. When it's time for the table topics, I always want to instruct the table topics master to cut off their questions at 7:42. Used to be 7:45, now it's 7:42. So we've got time to finish up what's going on in the meeting. If the speeches run long, there may not be time for the normal amount of table topics. But if you can, try to at least have the table topics master ask a couple of questions. They've done their job in preparing these questions, and we should at least have them ask a couple of questions. Once the table topics master has relinquished the lectern, introduce the general evaluator, and it's their job to finish up the evaluation portion of the meeting and end the meeting so you can end the meeting on time. After the general evaluator completes their portion of the meeting, you're almost done, but you're almost out of time, so you have to be quick about this. So call for a review of next week's schedule if there's time during the time that the humorist or the word joke master, I always forget who's the humorist taking up the ballots. And they finish that last best evaluator form, and then they'll bring you the ballots, and then you can deliver the winners to the club. Once the meeting is over, reflect on how well everything went and what you could do better next time. So the role of Toastmaster Day is 85% preparation, 15% execution. Advanced planning and a good agenda will help you hone your skills as Toastmaster of the Day. This is one of the most valuable skills you can learn in Toastmasters that can be transferred to everyday life, whether at work, in your church, or in civic organizations. There's always a leadership gap at the top, and you can step in to fill that in and make a difference. So be prepared, stay on your agenda, and most important, smile. These are the keys to being a successful Toastmaster today. Man, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Phil. Please write a note to Phil also. May we have a timer's report?
Yes, you may. John Wilder had a time of 6 minutes and 54 seconds, so he qualified. Phil had a time of